Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Mark Bales. I've signed a speaker's card. I live in the Boleyn Road neighborhood. I live on Boleyn Road. When the conservation subdivision regulations were changed in 2015, we were told to change to Comprehensive Plan Amendment number 2014D. We were told that TDRs could be used only in very specific areas. The board memo for the approval hearing said that TDR rezones were not to involve land that had been previously platted. I will give you a copy of that at the end of this presentation. I would like to show a short video that reminds us what was actually said, so we can be certain of the intent.
As Bill indicated, it is applicable to those conservation subdivisions that have certain characteristics, those that are designated rural heritage estate, which are yellow on here, which are unplatted lands, which are entirely west of the, in fact, you bore down a little bit deeper. In fact, it's only these areas here in pink. Bill's good graphic is illustrative of how narrow this actually is in scope. It shadows in pink those lands that are within 1 mile of the urban service boundary, designated rural heritage estate, and west of the countryside line. It is actually, to Bill's credit, he made it a little bit broader. He just hit unplatted lands that are within 1 mile, but it actually includes lands like the scope of the amendment is actually narrower than what's shown on this graphic.
It's going in a circle, if you will, because you're basically saying that it's because of the geographical choice of the urban service boundary that all these things are sort of coming into play here. So what does this mean? It's the zoning text amendment meaning that now it's going to be standard that could exist elsewhere. So, right?
It could exist as to these little limited pink areas here.
Right, those other areas. So we have to now gauge what the effect might be on those areas. And it's a lot harder to do that when you're not looking at specific projects. And I'm not suggesting that you're trying to pull the wool over anything, but this is, potentially what's problematic, what might be problematic, because we really don't know.
And Bill actually created this for the comp plan amendment. It actually is very narrow in application, and it identifies those areas that are here of the rural heritage estate designated lands that are west of the countryside line, that are unplatted, that are entirely within 1 mile of the urban service boundary and have urban services. The pink ones shown here are those that meet those criteria. Those would be the only ones that would be eligible for rezoning with the 1.5 units per acre.
So what's going to limit these RHE lands to restrict further just to a few parcels? There's just a few up north, and one we're representing today is B2, and here's where you kind of narrow it down to really get down to the nitty-gritty. To narrow it down to just the conservation subdivisions that will be available for this is unplatted land. You're not even going to be able to see some of those big lot subdivisions come in and redo it. Not eligible services, and to narrow the scope. When you do the comprehensive plan, you always like to narrow it down. You don't want to open the floodgate.
It cannot be platted, so it has to be unplatted property in that. It identifies in this pinkish color where this amendment might impact properties. Again, looking. It brings in the unplatted provision, so those properties that have not been previously platted is what will qualify. So if you're
unplatted lands is a concept that was carried over from the Phase 3 comp plan amendments you did for 2050, where you address unplatted lands. So these are lands that have not been carved up into lots. west of the countryside line.
Thanks, Ms. Bales. Chris Bales?